On this episode of Coin Grading for Beginners, we are going to talk about the Ike. That's right, the Eisenhower dollar. So do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, I hope that today is the day that I earn your subscription. Stick around. The Eisenhower dollar, aka the Ike, is the last large-sized dollar coin struck for circulation by the U.S. Mint. It's 38.1 millimeter or 1.5 inch diameter, and Obverse portrait with large open field render it among the easiest U.S. coins to grade and the least complicated of the dollar denomination. That being said, the low relief and sometimes poor striking quality of the copper nickel clad version struck for circulation can be tricky to grade. U.S. Mint chief engraver Frank Gasparo chose to depict the great General Dwight D. Eisenhower in a left-facing profile in his early 60s with a receding hairline, much as he looked when elected president in November of 1952. The first reverse, based on the Apollo 11 mission patch, features a bald eagle landing on the crater-pocked surface of the moon with an olive branch clutched in its talons. In the background, the Earth is rising over the moon's horizon. The second reverse, on dollar coins dual-dated 1776 to 1976, commemorating the nation's bicentennial, was designed by Dennis R. Williams and depicts the Liberty Bell superimposed on the moon. The Liberty Bell reverse, featuring the two design devices, has a large open field. Because Eisenhower dollars did not widely circulate, they are not often found in grades below about uncirculated 50. Often AU 58 graded coins will have more eye appeal than the lower mint states because the coin may have fewer contact marks and imperfections. However, the AU 58 designation signals the slightest bit of wear has been detected on the high points of the coin's design elements. Use incandescent lighting for grading Ike dollars and inspect the surface of the coin with your eyes without magnification, tilting and rotating the coin, looking for a contrast of luster between the high and low points and the rest of the coin. If you detect a contrast of luster between the high points and the rest of the coin, use a loupe or handheld magnifier of up to 7 power magnification to inspect for rubbing. Abrasions on the high points drop the grade to circulated. Contact marks are permitted in the uncirculated grades, but their number and location help to determine where the grade will ultimately land on the mint state scale. The more contact marks, the lower the grade, especially if they detract from the overall eye appeal. The large open fields on the Eisenhower dollar provide relatively little area for contact marks to hide. Most of the circulation strikes of the Ike copper nickel clad dollars are found with contact marks on the face, neck, and head of the portrait, as well as in the field of the obverse. Similarly, both reverses of the copper nickel clad versions are prone to show contact marks, although somewhat less than the obverse. The silver copper clad versions and the proof copper nickel clad issues exhibit few marks because they were produced with more care and were issued in sealed sets. Many of the Ike copper nickel clad dollars were struck with low relief and exhibit weak strikes. On the obverse, the high points on the hair above the ear and about halfway between the ear and the top of the head appear incomplete. Other areas that may be affected include the eyebrow, the cheekbone, the line of the jaw, ear, nose, and chin. On the eagle landing reverse, weakness of strike is sometimes seen on the eagle, the olive branch, the moon, and lettering in the legends. On the Liberty Moon Bell reverse, strike problems include the upper bell lines and lettering between and below the upper bell lines. on the left side of the middle bell lines, and on the moon. Most of the Eisenhower 40% silver dollars are well struck, and many are fully struck. Some have exceptional eye appeal because they have great luster, exhibit minimal marks, and were protected by the holders in which they were issued. However, finding copper-nickel clad issues with great eye appeal can be a challenge because few are encountered that are both well struck and exhibit few contact marks. Alright, let's take a look at the heat map here for the Ike. As usual, red is considered worse, orange is bad, yellow is average, and green is better, and blue is best. A mark in the red area is about 8 times more serious than if the same mark is in the green area. The worst places on the obverse for a mark or scratch are on Eisenhower's cheekbone, the mint mark, and the date. On the reverse, the worst places for scratches and marks are on the eagle's head and breast feathers and near the eagle's outspread left wing. Alright, let's take a look at the design high points on the Ike, shown here in red. On the obverse of the Ike are the portrait along the jawbone, on the cheek, the base of the neck, along the eyebrow, and on top of the ear. High points on the eagle's landing reverse are on the top of the eagle's right wing and at the top of the eagle's left wing, on the eagle's head behind the eye, the eagle's right talon, and on the feathers at the top of the eagle's left leg. On the Liberty Bell Moon reverse, the design high points include the right and left side beam, upper and lower bells, and on the bell and right portion of the moon. So because my collection is primarily proofs and mint state Eisenhowers, I'm just going to go through some examples from photographs. So I want to start with the AU50 because that's about the lowest grade that you can find the Ike dollar in. And what you'll find is light wear visible on the high points of the design. Half of the luster remains. On the obverse, you'll find light wear evident along the jawbone, on the cheek, the base of the neck, along the eyebrow, and on top of the ear. The hair is sharp and detailed. The eagle landing reverse will have light wear evident on top of the eagle's right wing and on top of the eagle's left wing, on the eagle's head behind the eye, the eagle's right talon, and on the feathers on top of the eagle's left leg. On the Liberty Bell Moon reverse, the wear will be evident on the right and left side of the beam, on the upper and lower bell lines, and on the bell and on the right portion of the moon. Here we see an AU58 with the slightest trace of wear detectable on the high points of the design elements. Nearly all of the mint luster is present. On the obverse, you'll see some signs of abrasion visible on the high points of the cheek, jawbone, the center of the neck, edge of the bust, and the head. On the eagle landing reverse, you'll have the slightest traces of abrasion detectable on the high points of the ridges of the feathers on the eagle's wings and legs. On the Liberty Bell Moon reverse, you'll have the slightest trace of abrasion visible on upper and lower bell lines and on the right side of the moon. Of course, here with the MS-60, we are talking about an uncirculated coin with absolutely no trace of wear permitted. Mint luster may be unattractive, dull, or washed out, and it may have large distracting contact marks or damage spots. Rim nicks may be present, and the eye appeal is very poor. Let's take a look at MS-67, which is what I'm looking for in the Ike. It's of course uncirculated. The strike is sharp for the date and mint at which it was struck. Full original mint luster is present. 3 to 4 very small contact marks and one other noticeable but not detracting mark is permitted. 1 or 2 small single hairline scratches may show under magnification. or one or two partially hidden scuff marks or flaws may be detected. Eye appeal on this coin is, of course, exceptional. Hey, if you've made it this far into the video, thanks so much for watching. You know, these videos take a long time to put together, a lot of editing, several hours went into it. So if you could hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.